Hey guys, how you all doing? This is Mario coming at you with a vlog. Well, to start things off, we all got some good news. I think everyone's heard this. Sopa and Pippa are apparently dead. Cue Undertaker's music right about now. If they're actually fully dead and not brought up again, I have to say this is a good thing, because as you guys know, I hate Sopa. What it was. Because I know it was with good intentions, you know, to stop piracy and all that, but the way it was worded was, it would have given the government way too much control, and it would have shut down places like YouTube and stuff, especially if they, even if they were going after a specific video, for example, that was protected by fair use, which, as you know, YouTube's already pansied enough when it comes to fair use. We don't need another excuse for them to delete stuff, but if they're dead, I'm glad. Now, the point of this video, as you can tell, is it's a massive VHS update. Now, the backstory of this is, for a living, my grandmother is a caregiver for this company called Addis Healthcare, and, you know, she goes out to elderly people's houses and, you know, does work in their house, you know, makes them food, does their laundry and stuff like that, stuff that they can't do because of disabilities or their age. Well, apparently around one of the neighbors of the people she works for, this woman was selling a bunch of VHSs, like box full of them, as well as a VHS player, and she got it for 20 bucks. She got the VHS player because up until then, that was the only VHS player in this whole house, because Kyle used to have a dual one that was VHS and DVD. Only the DVD part of it worked for some reason, but he got rid of it, so now we have two again. And after going through all the boxes and seeing all the movies in here, I could say my grandmother scored with this. And you'll see why in a minute. And only a couple, and out of all the movies, only 2 of them were unopened. Now, if you're wondering, I'm adjusting the box here so I can grab the stuff a little bit better. Now, this first one is probably a movie you'll see me review within the next month or so during Oscar reviews, because I know it did win Academy Awards. It, of course, is the classic from MGM, Gone with the Wind. And yes, that is a box. It opens up like that. I'll probably just set aside today. Now I'm just grabbing movies at the top. Next movie is a movie that I've been wanting to see for a long time. Haven't ever watched it. I've heard things about it. It has Harrison Ford in it. It is 6 Days, 7 Nights. Now this next one's another movie I've heard of that I haven't seen. It has John Travolta and Bob Hoskins in it, and also William Hurt's in it. Michael. Yes, I am going through these pretty quickly because there's a lot of them, and I can just guess from how long it's been here. Okay, that one's not part of it. I just put it in there. If I'm wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking for one that's connected with the film that I have right here, because they're both directed by the same guy, if I remember right. Yep. Now these 2 movies are 2 movies directed by Simon West. They were the 2 films he did in the 90s. We got The General's Daughter, and we got Con Air, which I haven't seen Con Air all the way through, so I look forward to watching it. Now this next one, this is probably a Stephen King based movie that, of the theatrical films, is probably one that's least talked about. It's one I am interested in watching, that's why I grabbed it. Thinner, if I remember right, this is based on one of his Bachman books, so makes me wonder why it's credited as him. It's probably afterwards. Now this movie I've never heard of, but it's kind of funny considering that the 2 actors in it I like. It has Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin. It's The Edge. That'll be an interesting one to give a watch. Now this next one, I'm glad I got the VHS of, because from what I hear, the DVD is bare bones, so I'm not really missing anything just by having the VHS. It's a film that I've been wanting to give a watch for a while, especially after I saw a couple good reviews of it. Especially after it was mentioned on NCIS in an early episode I saw. Now, of course, I'm gonna say a line of dialogue that I know is in the movie, and then I'll show you what it is. Get off of my plane. That's right, Air Force One. If I remember correctly, that is what he says. Now, I'm glad I got this one, because as you guys remember a while ago, I did get the VHS of the first film, so now I got the second one. Now I got the 2 good films in this series. I don't know if I'll get a third one, maybe if it's cheap one day. I think I'll have to stick to the DVD though, because I don't think they made a VHS of that. Anyway, it's Rush Hour 2. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Hey man, nobody understands words coming out of your mouth! Did that a little bit too good. Now this film is a remake, but it's, I have to say, probably one of the decent ones, even though I haven't seen the original. And it's one of the few instances where someone who played a character in the original plays a character in the remake. And I was actually surprised that this was a VHS. I didn't even know that they were still making VHSs when this came out. It is the VHS of The Longest Yard. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the shakes that'll make you quick. I got the burgers that'll... I just got burgers. No, I'll save that one for later because I know the sequel's in here. Here's a Tim Burton movie that I really want to revisit one day. I remember liking it. It's one of the few movies where you'll see Jack Nicholson playing 2 roles in the same movie. It's Burton's homage, I guess you can say, to the 50s. Mars Attacks. They're not going to get to TV. And this movie has Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster in it. I have heard of it. I've never seen it. It's kind of, if I remember, it has kind of a, it's a western, if I remember right. Now I look forward to watching it. Maverick. Now this next one is one that I just looked at it and then I researched it recently, and it looks like one that will be an interesting watch. It is Last of the Dogmen. Yeah. This is a movie I reviewed last year during one of the times my computer was down. I did one review before I put it in. It's a movie that I have a tribute idea I'm going to do for, even though it's made by 20th Century Fox, but I'm just going to do the flip footage thing. It's protected by fair use anyway. The Coast is Toast. That's right. Volcano. Ironically, Dante's Peak is in this collection somewhere too, so I haven't seen that movie anyway, so I can't really compare it. Now this next movie, I think this is one that is a candidate for Oscar reviews, because I think it did get 1 nomination, but I'll have to check. But it's a movie I've been wanting to see for a while. It's kind of a take on the Arthurian legend. It stars Sean Connery, Richard Gere, and Julia Ormond. And it probably has one of the most memorable moments of score, Arthur's Farewell. That's right, First Night. This next one stars William Baldwin, Donald Sutherland, and Jamie Lee Curtis. This movie looks like it'll be an interesting time waster. Just an evil virus threatening mankind. Yes, that's an Iron Maiden song. Yes, I am grabbing them 4 at a time. Now this one I definitely will be able to do because I know it did get 1 nomination. And funny that the plastic is still on the case. Not no more, it ain't. Of course. And oh, it has the music video for that song. That's kind of cool. If you're wondering what it is, it of course is the Jeremy Bruckheimer produced movie directed by Michael Bay. Michael Bay presents Explosions. Okay, starring Bruce Willis. I think I just gave away what it is. That's right, Armageddon. Hey, has at least 1 nomination. It's technically game. Even if it only has 1 nomination, technically. If I wanted to, I could review Rambo 2 during this time, because Rambo 2 got 1 nomination. This is a movie I remember seeing the beginning of years ago, and then for some reason I had to change the channel. I don't remember why, but it's a movie I've heard some decent things about, so I look forward to watching it. It's directed by Peter Jackson, and it stars Michael J. Fox. That's right, The Frighteners. Ooh! This next one is a film that stars Kurt Russell, directed by Paul Anderson back before he was Wild Stallions. And this is the one, I don't remember if he directed this before Event Horizon or afterwards. I think a little bit right afterwards. Anyway, it is Soldier. See, just these films alone, not bad for 20 bucks. Yeah, and there's still plenty more. Now this next movie is based on a book by Michael Crichton, and it came out after Jurassic Park, and because of that it did get a lot of flack. I remember liking it as a kid, and I'll have to give it a watch. I have to check because I think it might have gotten 1 nomination. So if it is, I'll give it a rewatch. But I loved it as a kid. I saw it in theaters anyway. And I do actually have I still have a stuffed doll of the lead gorilla, Amy. That's right, Congo. I do actually have the book up there. I look forward to watching it. Almost said watching the book. How do you watch a book? I'm gonna grab a bunch this time. Now the next one is a werewolf film from the 80s that is directed by Joe Dante that I'll probably give a watch later in the year, maybe for this year's Monster Fest, before I get to the thing I wanted to really do for it. It, of course, is The Howling. Now this next one, this is the unrated version, so this is the version that probably they meant to see. And I've heard a lot of negative stuff about this movie. It's directed by Wes Craven. Even if you don't like the Scream movies, this is even people that don't like the Scream movies, but at least say they have their notes. This is probably the first movie they say that started Wes's downward spiral, which I think which in my opinion, he kind of went a little bit up with Scream 4, even though I haven't seen the other ones. But I just want to see this for curiosity's sake, and I got it and the thing, so I might as well. It is the unrated version of Cursed. Now this next one is a movie I've been wanting to see for years, but every time it's on a movie channel, I always notice it like when it's like 10 minutes in, and I don't like watching a movie. I like to watch a movie from the start unless it's one I've already seen. It's a movie directed by Ron Howard, and I would classify this probably as a thriller. It is a movie starring Mel Gibson and Rene Russo, as well as Gary Sinise. It is, of course, Give Me Back My Son! Ransom! Now, this next one, I have the original over there on VHS, so now I got both films on VHS. I really hear more about the first one than the second one, so maybe this year's Monster Fest I'll do a little double feature. It, of course, is An American Werewolf in Paris. Oh, you Londoners, you cannot have your own werewolf. We have to have our werewolf because we are French. Now, this next film, of course, I did review a couple years ago for Oscar reviews. I probably won't give it a review this year because I think I did a pretty good job when I last did it. Anyway, it is one of the few horror films to be nominated for Academy Awards, and it won for Best Screenplay and Best Sound. It is that's right, The Exorcist. Exorcist 3 in here would be even better, but I can't complain. Now this next film is one of the classics in here, and I'm not sure, but I don't know if this one got nominations, but I remember loving this movie when I saw it. I actually saw it in middle school, and I already grew up on old films, so I was probably one of the few people who's like, oh no, he's showing us an old film, but it stars, of course, Katharine Hepburn, and of course, one of the all-time greats, Humphrey Bogart. It is The African Queen. Now this next movie, this is actually one of the few that was in there that was actually not opened. It's a movie that I shake my head when I think they're doing a remake of it, even though this itself is a remake technically. And it's actually the special edition of it. Yes, a VHS special edition. And it actually has stuff. It actually has I'm guessing that it's a double one. See, so I'm guessing that the first tape has the movie, the second tape has the special features and stuff, and like I said, it's unopened. Later on I'm probably going to look up to see how much one of these is worth unopened, but I'm probably going to open it, but I know that I know where the person bought it. Anyway, I'll show you right now. The movie, of course, is... You want to play rough? Okay, we'll play rough. Say hello to my little friend. You can't kill me. I'm Tony Montana. You know, you cockroach. Hey man, don't get high on your own supply. I'm fine, man. Don't need to worry. I'm fine. I'm Tony Montana. I cannot get high on my own supply. That's right. See, person. Let's see if I can get it right. See, they got it at Walmart in 05, if I remember right. So I'm like, damn. But now with this next one, I basically have all the movies in this series that are on VHS because And the last one came out last year, and as you know, they don't make VHSs anymore, so I have the whole VHS set of this series. Whether or not I'll get the new one, I probably will, but when the price goes down. But anyway, actually, this has a featurette on it too. Cool. This one, it's a hated remake, but I'll just see what my thoughts are on it compared to the new one when I do a ape-a-thon eventually. I will though say though that getting the person that they did as the lead is probably a bad idea. Why would you get a guy who started out as a rapper with his first name twice in his name? Marky Mark, why would you get him? Anyway, I guess you could guess what it is. It is Planet of the Apes, the Burton film. Now let's see. Yeah, I'll show those a bit. Okay, I know that other one was over here. Where is it? Wondering if I am taking. Okay, there it is. Now I can show those ones. Now I'm gonna. Now this is the one earlier I took out because I wanted to show it later. It is, of course, a movie that I reviewed last year that should have gotten an Oscar nod for acting. It, of course, is Brandon Lee's swan song. No pun intended, considering that there was birds, you know. It is, of course, The Crow. And along with it, I got probably the only sequel that people hold in high regard. The Crow, City of Angels. You know, you can see I want to keep the related films together. On that note, these two films. Now, I had the VHS of this film already, but I'm probably going to get rid of that one because this one actually has some features on it. And it's one of the ones that has a special cover, but that doesn't really mean anything to me. But I'm just keeping it for, as I said, it has a featurette on it. It, of course, is Scream. And now with this, I complete the VHS collection of this series because it is Scream 2. Oh man, why does she have to be in the movie butt-ass naked? Now, speaking of Wes Craven, this is another Wes Craven directed movie, but this is probably one of the few movies. Hello there, OG. You want to be on camera, but I'm sure you're going to have to wait. This is one of the few of his movies from the 90s that I hear people say is bad, but I really want to give it a look for curiosity's sake. It's his movie that stars Eddie Murphy. It is A Vampire in Brooklyn. Now this next one, you guys, I already had it, but my grandma saw it, so she wanted it, so I decided, alright, I'll just get rid of the other one. The one that I got chipped out of because it had the freaking X-Files case on it. Those bastards. But Legends of the Fall. Moving on. Now this is another one that also still had the plastic on it. What is with these people and leaving the plastic on it if the movie's open? You think you're gonna trick people? Anyway, this is another Mel Gibson movie. It's from the late 90s. I've never really heard of this one, but I think it'll be an interesting watch. Payback's a bitch. It's only Payback, but still, you can get it. Another one. Anyway, this is supposed to be a trilogy of films, but I only got the first one, which is still considered to be a classic of the 90s, and of course the first sequel, which most people hate the sequels, but I'll let you guys know my thoughts on them one day. Anyway, they are Involved the One. That is right, it is The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded. That's right, I have not seen The Matrix, so don't get on my case. I do not know who's there. Okay, that one. I'm wondering, yes, when I'm putting them down. Yes, as I get them out of the box, I am adjusting them for my own thing. Now, these next two, I was actually surprised to see in here. They're the only two ones in here that are wrestling related, specifically WWE related. First one is The Best of Raw Volume 1 and The Three Faces of Foley. Now this is one of the 2 John Wayne movies that was in here, and like Scarface, it's not open. This one, Rio Bravo now. Now this right here is a Stallone film that I'm not really that familiar with. It's from '96. And it has some behind the scene footage on it. It looks like it'll be interesting. And here's what it says on the back. This film does for the tunnel what Psycho did for showers, an explosive film. It is daylight. If you get my friends who are Stallone fans, let me know how that movie is. I'm just curious. This is a movie I enjoyed when I saw it last. And let's just see what time is done with it. It stars Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley. It is a comedy. It is, of course, for richer or poorer. This is a movie that I actually first heard of not that long ago when my grandma was flipping through channels on our HD TV, and because of the box we have a special channel that's only available to the HD box, and this movie was playing. She mentioned it. I read up on it. It seemed like an interesting movie, and I did get the soundtrack and listen to it, and I do like it. It, of course, is Eddie and the Cruisers, so I look forward to watching that. Now this next one is a movie I have never heard of as well. It has Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston in it. Dust, the bodyguard. Sorry, but there is dust in this film. It seems like some of these movies haven't been moved in a long time. Either that or this was in the attic. Now, this is another Stallone film, which, if I remember right, this does have a couple Oscar nominations, and I think maybe a win. It's a movie that, the day I'm recording this, my good buddy, Movie Guru Joe, uploaded his review of this, and I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. I look forward to it, and it's another one of his films that's getting a remake. It, of course, is Cliffhanger. Now, this movie, if I remember right, this is a sequel to a film I got before. Which, hey, I should actually get I could do the first movie in this series. It has an Oscar win. I just noticed that. So, and maybe after I'm done with Oscar, maybe we'll do it at the end of Oscar reviews, at the very end. I'll review the first one, so that this could be my first film after it, but we'll just see. It is U.S. Marshals. Hold on, I'm going to adjust the camera real quick. There. Now this film I saw in theaters, and I actually first heard about it because it's one of the trailers attached to the DVD of a Resident Evil Apocalypse. Not Resident Evil. Yeah, Apocalypse. And I would be lying if I said I hated it when I saw it, because I did like it. I'll just see what time is done with it. It, of course, is Boogeyman. Now, this film is another one I've never heard of, but if I have, it's in passing. But it has Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman in it, so it should be an interesting watch. It is Chain Reaction. Next one, another John Wayne one that's not open, but this one I've actually heard of. The Alamo. You know, we're going to have to make our last stand now. Well, dang gummit, here we go! Now, this is another movie that I saw years ago that I really want to revisit, and I look forward to revisiting it, probably once again around Monster Fest. Mimic. Alright, I might as well do these ones. Now these next two films, if I remember correctly, do have Oscar nods, so maybe I'll give them, they'll probably get watched. One of them I know I like, the other one I haven't seen. The one I know I liked, but I haven't seen in a while, is of course this one. It won 5 Academy Awards. It's a double VHS. It is Saving Private Ryan. And this next one, as you guys remember, I have, but this is the extended edition. I'll probably keep both of them and put them in there. It is. Well, it's the winner of 7 awards, so yeah, I can definitely do this one if I watch it in time. It is Dances with Wolves, the extended edition. Now, these next ones, I already had these. You remember, because I got the original ones, but this is, I think, the last VHS release they did of these, so these are probably in very good condition. And I'll probably watch these ones first. Now, of course, the release of them is when they released is when they released it along with the TV show in numbered order so you could watch them in number when they happened. He only had one thing of the TV show, so... Odie, what are you barking at? He only had one thing of the TV show, so I'm getting rid of that. Because, just so you guys know, we only kept the movies that we like. We're selling the other ones when we do a garage sale. Or if you guys are interested, just hit me up and I'll let you guys know. If you guys are VHS collectors, like Mike, I know Mike OCP Communications is a VHS collector, but I don't know if he'd like any of the ones in there. Crap! So why don't you close the door so Odie doesn't get here when I'm doing a long video that's like this. Anyway, it's the Indiana Jones trilogy there. Get that out of the way. Okay. Now, this next movie is one that I have not seen in a while, but I did love it when I first watched it. It, of course, is one of the most... It has one of the few deaths in a movie like this that you do not see coming. Let's just see you guys know what I'm talking about. It is Deep Blue Sea. Now this next one is an action movie I have not seen. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, and I do look forward to watching it. It's directed by Michael Bay. It stars Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, and Ed Harris. It is, of course, The Rock. Now this next one is a VHS release of a couple episodes of this classic TV show. The Twilight Zone. If you're wondering what episodes are on it, it has Eye of the Beholder, The Lonely, The Invaders, and One for the Angels. That'll be interesting to watch. Now this next one, this is a movie that has Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, and Morgan Freeman in it. I remember hearing about it years ago, but I never watched it. I mostly remember it because of the monkey. And I'm gonna look forward to watching it. Outbreak. Odie, quit your barking! You're barking at shadows! Now this next one is another one that's unopened, but I probably will watch this one. It is a Jim Carrey film. It is Liar Liar. Next, this is a movie I remember liking. Of course, is a Leslie Nielsen film. If I remember correctly, Hulk Hogan has a cameo in this movie at one point. It is, of course, Spy Hard. Next film, I haven't seen it all the way through, but I actually look forward to watching it. I know it's not really close to the novel. I mean, it takes a basic story and then deviates a lot, but from what I hear, there's a couple other versions of it, so basically it's an adaptation and a reinterpretation. I think kind of like what they do with Sherlock Holmes, but a little bit closer to the source. But it's debatable whether they're closer. It stars Demi Moore, Gary Oldman, and Robert Duvall. And from what I remember, this film got critically panned when it came out, but I look forward to watching it. It is The Scarlet Letter. Now this next movie is another one based off a Michael Crichton book. This is one of his earlier books that is actually his take on the Beowulf story in a semi-realistic way, which I do look forward to reading it because I have it over there. The novel is called Eaters of the Dead, while the movie is called The 13th Warrior. If I remember correctly, this one also got a little bit of got panned a little bit, but I look forward to watching it. It is, of course. Oh yeah, I said The 13th Warrior already. Excuse me. Hey, see, this dust is getting to me. Hey, you've almost been watching me for a half hour. If you're wondering, I think I'm about halfway through the box. Yeah, because I'm only doing like 2 movies a minute, so. Next movie stars Kurt Russell and it involves a plane. It is Executive Decision. The ones I'm not really familiar with, I'm skimming over a little fast. Okay, this is a movie that I would probably say is a guilty pleasure of mine because I do enjoy it, even though it probably could have been a little bit better. But for what it is, I have fun with it. Probably another Monster Fest one. You back, you eight-legged freaks! Now this is another movie I really want to re-watch because I first saw it in Cinemas Literature the first time. And of course it's one of the films that, you know, everyone knows one moment from it. Where's my daughter? Are you mad? I am your daughter. The Others. Which I do remember, of course, the twist ending, so. I remember right, isn't it? No, I was about to say. Let's say it sounds like a movie M. Night Shyamalan would have done. Now, this movie is one that usually gets hate, especially when you compare it to its predecessor. But the first one is on Netflix, so I'll probably do a double watch of this one day. It is, of course, Escape from L.A. Now, this next one just got another sequel, and so far I've only seen the prequel, which I'll probably, when I review them, I'll probably do it in chronological order of the timeline. Anyway, I look forward to watching this one. I'll probably watch this one maybe later tonight. It is, of course, Underworld. I don't know if the second one's on VHS. If it is, I'll get that on VHS and just get the third one on DVD. Now, this next film is a Wesley Snipes film. It's one I've heard of, but haven't seen. Because the only one of his films where he's the only action star in it that I've seen is his Blade films. The only film I've seen with him that I know that he was in it was, of course, Demolition Man. Jeffrey Dahmer, I love that guy! Anyway, it is The Art of War. This next movie is one that the Nostalgia Critic reviewed not that long ago, and also, if I remember right, my good buddy Matt reviewed not that long ago. I remember hearing of it years ago, but I never saw it. I do look forward to watching it just to see what it is. It is, of course, The Cell. Now, this is a Bruce Lee film, and I have to say I have never seen any of Bruce Lee's films, so I do look forward to watching this. It is, of course, the 25th anniversary special edition of Enter the Dragon. This is another one I'll probably review during Oscar reviews because it did win at least one. Stupid is, stupid does. That's right. Forrest Gump. Hold on a second, I gotta go get me a drink of water. That feels a little bit better. You still there? You better be, or else I'll get the bat. I'll get the wiffle bat. Anyway, this next one is a movie directed by the same guy that directed Speed. And I've heard mixed things about it, so I'll just wait and give it a watch. Twister. Now, this next movie, it has George Clooney, Marky Mark, and Ice Cube in it, so two guys I like acting, one guy I've never seen any of his movies, so let's just see how it is. Three Kings. Okay. Yeah, we're getting through the box. Now, this next movie, once again, has the plastic still on it. Boy, they kept plastic on a lot of them. Now, I have the DVD of the first film in it, and I guess you could say this is kind of a sequel. Because it's based mostly on one of the sequel novels and parts of another, but I've heard mixed things about it, but I know I like the soundtrack of it. And, of course, it's sad that one of the actors in it, I should say actress because it's a female, is no longer with us. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Aaliyah or something. She died not that long before the film was released, but it, of course, is Queen of the Damned. Now, this next one, I kept the first one. I might go and end up keeping the second one, but I guess it depends on how I feel. It is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know what you're doing in there, boy! Now, this next one is one that everybody knows one of the scenes from this movie because it's been parodied multiple times. Even Tom Cruise himself parodied it. Fucking cut! Anybody else see this? Someone just took a dump in my face. This is a teen movie! Teens love ass! Now, dance, monkey. Everyone remembers that. It's parody of it. Of course, I'm talking about Risky Business. Can't wait to give that one a watch. This one is a movie with John Travolta and Christian Slater in it. It looks like a decent movie. Broken Arrow. Now, this is a movie I remember watching once in science class when I was in middle school, and I loved it. So, I'm thinking of giving it another watch. It has Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey, two actors I do like. It is Contact. I remember years ago seeing the trailer for this in the theater. This is another movie with Christian Slater in it. It also has Randy Quaid and Morgan Freeman in it. Hard Rain. Now this is a movie I'll probably do around October. I've heard mixed things about it, but I still want to watch it. Cabin Fever. I got cabin fever. I got it too. We got cabin fever. No, I just did it. Now this next movie is a movie that I've been wanting to get for a while. I would get the DVD, but I hear other than I don't remember if there's any special features on it or not. And I'm just happy to have it officially in my collection now. It of course is a movie I still want to do a tribute for in a little bit. It of course is Waterworld. I know that this is probably one of the most expensive movies ever made, and I know that people hate on it, but I don't see why people hate on it. I know the situation of the world apocalypse probably could never happen because it's not on water, but still, for me, it's an enjoyable movie. And also, I don't like I mentioned in my review, I don't mind Costner's acting because it kind of fits the character, except for the scene with the boat. He should have shown emotion there. Now this next movie is a Disney movie that I really do enjoy. It's a live action one. I gotta give it another watch soon. It is another one produced by Jeremy Bruckheimer. Why is it he produces a lot of their movies? I never get that. It's like George Lucas in all the movies with Steven Spielberg. He produces a lot of his. And writes them too. Anyway, it's Remember the Titans. Now these next two films are connected, and I actually managed to keep them together when I was putting it in. One of them has bonus content. I've seen the sequel part of the way, and I've seen the first one all the way, and I enjoy the first one. Let's just see how the sequel is. See, when were they made, actually? Doesn't say the years. Anyway, it's Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. I might as well get these ones out of the way. These are ones that were taped, and the only reason I kept them was a couple of the movies. Okay. This one has on it Total Recall and The Hunt for Red October. And this one has on it Missing in Action 1 and 2, and that's why I kept it. Now this movie is one that I've seen, and it actually is a pretty good one. It's inspired by something that actually happened. But it was written, back, during the whole Red Scare of the 50s, and it's kind of allegorical for that. It is The Crucible. Hey, it was based on a play. Now, these next two films, I have not seen the first film, but I have seen the second film, and I enjoy it. Now, technically, they are both remakes, but they're done pretty well. They star Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, Martin Short, among others. Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Part 2. I can only imagine what a third film would be about. Anyway. Now this next movie is a special edition of it, and I know that not my friends who have seen this movie who actually liked the movie are not really fans of the special edition because of how the endings changed, but hey, I can't choose what version of the movie I got in this box, so I still want to give this movie a watch. It was directed by James Cameron back when he was still James Cameron. It, of course, is the movie that eclipsed one of my underrated movies, Leviathan, the year it came out. The Abyss. I think it got Oscar nominated, so I think I can give that a watch right now. This next movie stars Denzel Washington and Meg Ryan. Courage Under Fire. Now this movie, I used to have the DVD of it years ago. I do not know what happened to it. But now I'm glad I got it in my collection again. It's a VHS, but beggars can't be choosers. It's the only movie with The Rock in it that I've actually seen, where he's actually the main guy, I should say, that I've actually seen all the way through, because technically speaking he's in the Scorpion King, but not for long. By the way, that was one of the movies in the box, but I have the DVD, so why keep the VHS? Except for collecting, but it would take up room here. Anyway, it is Walking Tall. Now this next movie is another one I'll probably review around Monster Fest. I remember liking it when I watched it not that long ago, so we'll just see how it is the second time around. It stars Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. Wolf. This is a movie that I have not seen, but I've heard some decent things about it, so I'll give it a watch. It is Triple X. This is another movie that I haven't seen all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I look forward to watching it. I think it did get some Oscar nods. What Dreams May Come. Now I'm very happy I got this film in my collection now, because now I have both one. I have the original on DVD and I have this on VHS. Alrighty then. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. The only sequel that Jim Carrey has ever done in his career. Now this next movie is one that I've seen part of. My grandma likes it. That's one of the reasons we kept it. But I look forward to watching it. It stars Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. The Bone Collector. Now these next two films are related, as in one's the original, one's a sequel. I've heard good things about the original. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Depending on who you are, you might like the sequel, you might hate it, but they are making a third one, so maybe when the film comes out, I'll give these two a watch and maybe see it. The first one is, of course, Pitch Black, and the second one is The Chronicles of Riddick. I know what you're saying so far. You just kind of scored, yeah. Now this next one, another one I'll probably review around Monster Fest. I've never seen it. Lake Placid. I know I'm skimming over some of these, but some of these I don't know what to say. Another one, this one stars Jodie Foster. Another one probably I'll watch later in the year. Panic Room. This is one that I've been actually wanting to see. Marky Mark's in this one as well, but this is one of the ones I've actually heard good things about him in. Four Brothers. Now this is a film that I used to watch a lot when I was a kid, but I haven't seen in years. It's one of the few films that Macaulay Culkin has done. I think the only one he's done where he's a villain. And I look forward to watching it. It also has Elijah Wood in it, and they play cousins, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Anyway, the only real complaint that I've heard about this from adults is that why can't the adults in the movie figure out he's evil, but I'll just see how it is. The Good Son. This is a movie I've heard of, but I've never seen it. It has George Clooney and John Goodman in it. Oh brother, where art thou? Hey, John Goodman has an eye patch. Is he a pirate? Oh yeah, here it is. I mentioned this movie earlier. Dante's Peak. It's at the bottom of the box. And we only got one more stack left. Then we're going to be done. What's this in the corner? Now, this is a movie that I saw most of a while ago, and I look forward to watching it all at once. It's directed by Paul Verhoeven, and this is the only one of these three films I actually hear good things about. It is Starship Troopers. Now these next two films, I hear good things about the first one. The second one I hear mixed things about. But they're films that most people say, when they talk about both of them in retrospect, they say, hey, this shows that Eddie Murphy once was funny. The Nutty Professor and Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. This is the mixed one, obviously. This next one is a movie that got some flack when it came out. But I remember when I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I can say I like it. Which I don't get why people complain about the main thing, because it is based off a theory that actually the people do believe in. And remember, it's fiction. This movie. It is, of course, the Stargate. And by the way, when I do get around to reviewing this, I do got a tribute idea for it. This next one, I've never heard of this film, but I like both the main actors in it, Michael Keaton and Gina Davis, so I'll give it a watch one day. Speechless. A comedy beyond words. Okay. Oh, crap. Now this is the last of the movies. Now this movie I have not seen. I've heard mixed things about it, so I'll probably give it a watch around Monster Fest. 13 Ghosts. That's right, I've never seen it. This is a movie that I don't think I've heard of this, but it has Sigourney Weaver in it. Looks like it'll be interesting. Copycat. Now, this is a movie I hear a lot of good things about. The Sigourney Weaver is also in. It also has Tim Allen and Alan Rickman in it. Kind of lampoons Star Trek and the fans of Star Trek. It is Galaxy Quest. Now, this is a classic film. Okay, this one is fair game for Oscar because it got one Oscar. Oh, this is the colorized version. Son of a bitch. Oh, or as it says, son of a bitch! Well, then again, I think I could set my thing on black and white if I want to watch it in the original version if I don't like it, but still. Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid. Well, I don't give a beans about the people in this crazy world. That's why you're getting on the plane. Maybe not today, or maybe not tomorrow. Will you stop that? Now, this is a movie I only have heard of recently, and it does sound like an interesting movie. It stars Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, and Kevin Spacey. 4 actors I like. A Time to Kill. This is a movie I've heard of. It doesn't have the cover, so I can't really read anything on it, but I remember hearing about it. And I might as well keep it. Toy Soldiers. Yeah, as you can tell from the sound thing. And now the last 2 movies. This one, the only reason I kept it is in case I ever have the hankering to watch this version of the film. And it's a collector's edition, and since I respect this film, I'm like, oh, I might as well. Probably when I stack the films, I'll probably put it in the back, though. Here's, of course, Steve McQueen's version of The Blob. Now, this next movie, I've never heard of, but it has Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson in it, so I'm like, I'll give it a watch. Kiss of Death. And that, my friends, is the bottom of the box of films. Almost 50 minutes it took me to show you. I don't know. This is probably going to be up the moment I'm done with this. And when you guys are done watching this, let me know what you guys think of my haul. As for what's coming after this, I'll probably do one more video, and then I'll start Oscar reviews. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.